What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with a little bit of Warframe. Going to be getting back into Warframe a little bit here as I've just put out a new update, and I've finally gotten to the point where I have enough time and space and privacy now to kind of get back into making videos on a more consistent basis. And one of the series I've really been enjoying has been my Warframe free-to-play series and also my Warframe 101 videos that I've been posting up sporadically. And I've been really surprised because a lot of those seem to be doing very well. A lot of people seem to be very happy with those and are enjoying the content and have been telling me the content is very helpful. So that's what I'm here for, and I want to always try to help people that are new to games and maybe having some trouble with games, just have a better understanding of how things work. And Warframe is one of those games where it's kind of difficult sometimes for a newer player to pick it up and really understand what's going on. So that's one of the reasons I started doing a lot of the free-to-play stuff with Warframe and also the Warframe 101 series. So I'm going to be continuing those. We're also going to get into the Plains of Eidolon. I definitely want to check that out. I haven't been able to get in there yet on my primary account, but I definitely want to check that out. Probably going to do some Let's Play type videos with that, just exploring the new zone. But today's video actually is going to do more with the free-to-play series, and I wanted to talk about Baro Ki'Teer. I've had a lot of questions about Baro Ki'Teer from some people who are just starting out with the game or who are trying to go the free-to-play only route, and they're always asking, you know, is it worth it trying to go for some of his items? If you guys don't know, Baro Ki'Teer is a special vendor in Warframe. He shows up every 2 weeks offering some different items. Some weeks he's got some really good inventory, other weeks he's got some kind of crappy inventory. It just kind of depends. But my answer to this question is actually going to be yes. He is someone you want to be aware of if you have a free-to-play account, because he is a way you can actually acquire some pretty high-end mods and sometimes a high-end weapon without actually putting in a whole lot of effort. And if you're a free-to-play player, you know it's a little bit of a longer grind to get items in the game, especially mods and weapons, so it can take you a while to get a good collection going. But with Baro Ki'Teer, you can actually access some very high-end equipment, which is fairly easy to get for the value you're going to get back from it. Now, the currency that you have to use for him is an item called a Ducat or a Ducat. People say them differently. I call them Ducats. I'm not sure why. I think it just sounds better. But each week he will sell items for Ducats and Credits. Now, you're going to need a lot of credits normally. Usually most of his items are at least 100,000 credits. Some of the better items are 400, 500, 600,000 credits for the weapons, and the mods usually around 300, 400,000 credits, in addition to the amount of Ducats you need for it, which is usually over 300 or 400, just depending. He also sells some cosmetic items, which I kind of just ignore because I don't know. As a free-to-play player, you're kind of wasting your resources if you go after cosmetic items. And he also does sell booster items sometimes for credits and experience and things, which can be helpful, but are also ridiculously high priced. So you're better off saving up your Ducats to buy mods and the occasional weapon from him. Now, you're probably wondering how you're going to get these. You actually get them by selling prime parts, which you saw at the beginning of the video. I was selling some of my prime part inventory. And that's another thing I'm going to cover with the free-to-play series is it worth it going after some of the prime gear in the game? I'm going to have to do a video, probably a separate video on that, because I want to talk about how to maximize time with being a free-to-play account. And one thing I notice a lot of people who struggle early on with the game is they're just trying to get so much gear right away, and that's not helpful for progression, because in Warframe, everything is very much based on level progression. And if you are constantly trying out new weapons and new frames, it's going to take you forever to get them up to level 30 to the point where they're viable, where you can fill them with mods and get them formatted and whatnot. And if you spend all your time doing that, you're not going to get very far in the game. So I recommend staying with 2 or 3 Warframes and a handful of weapons and gear that you can constantly keep topped out at level 30, maybe with a forma or 2 in them, and of course a reactor or a catalyst, to keep your time maximized in the game. So that's something I'm going to cover in a different video. But the prime parts kind of do fall into that, because you do want to do some farming every once in a while, and it's actually not very difficult to farm prime parts, especially once you start getting some better mods and you get some weapons leveled up and whatnot. So we're going to go into that. I'm going to do a separate video on farming for prime parts. But it's pretty easy. You get relics from doing certain missions, excavation missions, and survival missions, and I'm also going to be covering farming those missions in my free-to-play series as well, so you guys will be seeing that pretty soon. And you can open up these relics in these missions and actually get some prime parts from them. Now, it's kind of going to be kind of hard if you don't have a lot of time to play the game to acquire a lot of the prime items in the game, because the drop rates on some of them aren't that great. Some of them you have to do tier 4 void missions for, which can be kind of difficult in tier 3, especially if you're just starting out. But you definitely want to shoot for some of the lower level prime stuff early on, because it's a good way to farm Ducats, and like I said, we'll cover that in a separate video. But I'm going to be going through that and definitely showing it to you guys. And it's definitely worth it, like I said, because the mods that Baro has alone are usually pretty good in some of the better end mods in the game. Plus, he normally sells a prime mod every week, which as a free-to-play player, you're not going to have a whole lot of easy routes to get those, especially early on in the game. But that's just one thing I wanted to kind of talk about. So yes, definitely Baro Ki'Teer is someone you want to be paying attention to. He's another reason you want to try to progress early in the game, because there are 2 relays that he shows up at that are accessible very early on, especially the relay on Mercury. But as a free-to-play player, that's something you're going to have to watch, because he does show up on a relay. I can't remember exactly what place. I think it might be Pluto, which is really far out in progression, and if he shows up there in certain weeks, you're just kind of SOL. You're not going to be able to get out there and get any of his items. But there is a relay on Saturn and one on Mercury that he shows up at quite commonly, so those are pretty accessible early on in the game. And you know, it's something where you're going to want to keep an eye on that and make sure you're trying to progress through the planet charts, progressing through the star chart to get those relays opened up, so you'll be able to take advantage of him when he does show up. Anyways, guys, it's going to do it. Kind of a short video here. Not much else to say other than, yes, you do want to kind of pay attention to what Baro Ki'Teer has each week, even if you're a free-to-play account. And, you know, we'll get into how to farm up some of those Ducats, however you want to call it, pretty soon. And once you guys are able to see that, it should be fairly easy for you to start getting some early-level prime stuff that you can trade in for Ducats and get some items from Baro Ki'Teer. So overall, that's going to enhance your experience and make your weapons and items a lot more effective when you can get some of those better mods. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video today. As always, let me know if you have any questions down below. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.